All right, man. So the elephant in the room. Elephant in the room. It's already been said. It's already been done. So Shedeur Sanders goes to the Cleveland Browns in round 5. Okay. From what I didn't understand, or just my perspective, why are you going to pick a quarterback in the 3rd round and then you come back in the 5th round and you pick Shedeur Sanders? That was just mind-boggling to me. I mean, where after I saw he was not picked on day 1 and day 2, I said, and Lee, I think we had this conversation. I said, I don't think he's going to get picked at all. I think he's just probably going to come in as an unrestricted free agent and then go from there. See where it ends up. But that just didn't make any sense to me, man. How does Cleveland Browns pick a quarterback 3rd round? When you pick a quarterback in the 3rd round, that means this guy is competing at least for the backup quarterback spot, right? So he is going to be competing for a backup position on this team. If he was picking the 2nd round, then he could be competing for the starting spot. But 3rd round, okay, this is our back. This is a solid backup who we going with, who could eventually, at some point in time, become our quarterback. If that.
So yeah. I mean, look, you rarely see a team pick two quarterbacks in the same draft.
That's crazy.
We have seen it happen, but the situation was different. You would see a team pick a first rounder, and then they would pick some guy later in the draft, right? So the first rounder, that guy, he's going to be competing for that top spot, the starting position, and whoever you pick later, that guy he's gonna be scrapping trying to make the team.
Right.
But at best, that guy is going to be the backup. In this situation where you got a 3rd rounder and a 5th rounder, both are basically going to be vying for some sort of a clipboard role. It's kind of unprecedented. You don't really see it. And we were talking about this off camera, and anyway, I don't think the Browns had any inclination of picking Shedeur in the first place, right? When they picked Dylan Gabriel in the
Right.
in the 3rd round,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that they had no intentions later on getting Shedeur or any other quarterback for that matter.
Right.
There's some conspiracy theories out there about. I think I saw an article about it. An owner was about to pull the trigger and just stop the slide. That's what the article was saying. One NFL owner said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to just stop the slide so that it can basically stop being such a hot topic. Because it was starting to become a distraction for the league. And we all know the NFL, they don't like distractions.
Right.
So in
Yeah.
order to kind of nip that in the bud, they was like, okay, let's stop it and get this thing over with, because it's starting to become bigger than what it should be. And right after that tweet went out, the Browns they selected him. And again, we were talking about this off camera too, right? But if you look at the video with the guy, with the GM and the coach Stefanski, when they made the selection,
Right.
typically you see
Yeah.
the staff, they
Yeah.
high fiving,
Right.
good job, whatever, stuff like that.
Yeah.
They like this,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
I'm like,
I
they
did see that.
look like a group of people who were under duress, who were being forced to make a decision that they didn't want to make. That's what it looked like.
Yeah.
Right. And again, the explanation as to why they did it, I don't know if they really gave a sound, feasible explanation as to why they waited to get him. If they were going to get him in the first place, it would have made sense to get him in the 3rd and then Dylan Gabriel in the 5th.
Right. Yes.
That would have made a lot more sense.
Right. Yeah.
Yes. But they didn't want to get him. I think they were that organization probably coming down from the owner. I think they were forced to pick him in the 5th.
Sometimes you look at it and it's like, hey guys, we had this guy as like a 2nd round pick and he's in the 5th round. I mean, who else are we going to get in the 5th round? Like, it's a great value pick. And half the room's like, yeah, but hey, who else are we going to get in the 5th round? This is like a 2nd, 3rd rounder on our board. He's in the 5th. It's a value pick. Okay. Right? Like, we can't argue with it, but it don't really make much sense. Y'all remember on The Dark Knight where the Joker walks in and kills the guy, and then he like has the two henchmen and breaks the pool stick and throws it half of it and say, we doing tryouts. That's what's going on, right? Because that quarterback room right now got Joe Flacco, Deshaun Watson when he comes back, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, and right, and Shedeur Sanders, right? And it's like, hey, five shall enter, three shall leave, right? So,
We need to talk about Kenny Pickett. We need to talk about Kenny Pickett.
oh, but
No,
Yeah, man.
no,
Yeah.
and the reason why, right? The reason why Kenny Pickett is such an interesting topic for me,
Yeah.
and I know it seems like I'm just making fun of him, but it's for just cause, right? You got a guy starting with the Steelers,
Right.
did not do a good job.
No.
Didn't do a good job.
No.
Steelers say, hey, we're gonna bring in Russell Wilson to compete,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Now, even if they had said, you know what, we're gonna bring him in and he's gonna be the unofficial starter coming in, I'm pretty sure knowing Mike Tomlin, Kenny Pickett still had a shot to win the starting position if he worked his butt off and proved them wrong. But what did Kenny Pickett do? Kenny Pickett's like, no, I want out. He don't want no parts of the competition whatsoever. He felt he got butthurt saying, oh, y'all promised me this, y'all promised me that, and now y'all going sideways on it. Get me out of here. So they sent him to Philly, where he isn't going to sniff a starting position, right? And now he's going to Cleveland, where he probably thought he had a chance. And he's in another situation where he's not going to find his way getting to that starting spot.
No.
And Doc, we talked about this with these quarterbacks when they are now this new crop of quarterbacks coming into the league who are averse to adversity. Right? They want things to kind of be promised to them, given to them, and then if things don't really go the way that they want it to go, they want to be able to just move on and go somewhere else. And we could say that this is probably a byproduct of the whole new transfer portal / NIL stuff that's going on in college, where they have more flexibility to do this stuff. And it's starting to leak into the league. But yeah, I think now with Cleveland, as Doc said, you got 5 quarterbacks. One is on IR, but he's the incumbent. He's basically the incumbent star. He's the guy coming in. He's the top bill guy. But Flacco, he's a proven veteran, 40 years old. Did you guys see the video with Deion Sanders and Shedeur talking about Flacco? Talking about Cleveland?
I didn't see that one.
I'll send it to you, Links. I think I sent it to you, Doc. Right? But there's videotape of them on draft day. This is before he got drafted. This is before he got drafted, or right around the time when he was getting drafted by them, making fun of Joe Flacco. And this is the problem I have with Shedeur and that whole camp. Basically saying, it's slim pickings over there. I got this in the bag.
Yeah.
Flacco was Deion Sanders' age. Saying he's my age.
Right. That's what Deion said. Yeah, man, he's 40. And they laughing and giggling it up. Yeah, he's 40. But he could probably still beat out Shedeur, at least for the next year, for the starting position. It's not a foregone conclusion that you're going to get it. So goes back to my whole deal with Shedeur. And I know I'm kind of switching topics here, but my issue with Shedeur a little bit is the fact that a lot of things has been handed to him. And I know people are going to, oh, that's not true. That's not true. Prove it, right? When your father is your coach from high school going into college, your entire high school and college career, you can't tell me that unequivocally you earned the spot. You can't. No one can convince me of that. Is he a good quarterback? Yes. But you can't tell me that he's had like real competition in front of him to earn whatever the spot was that he's had since being coached by his dad. No one Deion for who he is and how he is, like, he is vehemently just like down for his kids. His kids are his top priority. No one could convince me otherwise, that he actually had people in position to competently compete against Shedeur for those starting spots. You can't debate me on that. I don't care.
Man.
So with that being said, now he's going to Cleveland. Now he's thinking Cleveland is going to be slim pickings, easy pickings, right? He's going to go there. You got a 40-year-old quarterback. Ha 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 ha. You got Kenny Pickett. That kind of is slim.
Yeah, Kenny. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But don't sleep on
Dylan
Gabriel.
Yeah.
Don't sleep on Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't have Dylan. I'm not saying Dylan Gabriel is a better quarterback than Shedeur by no stretch of the imagination,
Yeah.
but that dude is a fighter.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
a scrapper. He will go to heaven and back, right?
Yeah.
Trying to like basically earn his spot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's going to have someone who's going to be like competing, very strongly against him outside of just trying to take the spot from Flacco, we know Flacco basically is at the top of the
Right.
list right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not gonna be easy by any stretch of the imagination to come in there and think, you're just gonna start automatically just because. Me personally, I don't know about. I know Deshaun Watson was there, but Deshaun had 2 years. I think his time is past. At this point, Kenny Pickett. I mean, come on. I mean, we experienced Kenny Pickett in Philly, and let me tell you, I would have been scared if Jalen was out any longer.
Yeah.
Boy, I would have been like, "Oh, this is it. It's over for us." Because I don't know. I didn't trust Kenny Pickett. Our third string QB came in and made this dude look like he was a rookie. I'm telling you, this our third string QB, who's now moving up to going to be the second string, and competing for that position. But anyway, yeah, but it's not going to be easy because Joe Flacco is a veteran. He might have the age on him, but he's a veteran. He's a proven quarterback in this league. So yeah, we'll see what happens there in Cleveland, man. So
Any projections? Any you guys have any predictions on the type of career you think Shedeur is going to have?
Go ahead, Doc.
I'll go first. So I think, and I've been saying this from the beginning, I think he's going to be in the league for a good 8 to 10 years, right? Now, I might get a Pro Bowl or two, right? But I think outside of that, if he's winning playoff games, he's going to have to be on a team with a sound defense, which Cleveland does have, a strong running game, decent receivers. He needs to be, he's going to be the cog in a nice wheel to make sure everything goes. But he's not Joe Burrow in it like Cincinnati. He's not going to be doing the Patrick Mahomes carrying teams years on end with like receivers that no one wants on their team, right? So in terms of him coming in and trying to manage a team, move the ball down the field, don't turn the ball over, playing sound defense, if he's playing like Bill Parcells type football, I think he'll be fine. But if the hero ball, you got to run and scramble and make plays on the run and carry the team because the offense is stagnant and you have to be the guy, that's not his skill set, right? And it's not trying to knock him as just being this is the appraisal of his talent, what he has and what he doesn't have.
Yeah. Yeah. I think for me, it's going to be, I think Joe Flacco is going to win the spot. However, Joe Flacco can't last the whole season. It's not going to happen. And so it is going to be a tight competition with him and Dylan Gabriel, there for that second spot. I think he may win that second spot. It's going to be tight. I'm not even putting Kenny Pickett in this. It's going to be tight, right? For that second spot between them two. However, I think he is going to edge him out, and I think he is going to start towards the end of the season, this upcoming season. He's going to start because I don't think Flacco is going to finish it out. Flacco's probably going to get hurt. It's going to be something that happens that, Flacco's going to be playing good. They're going to be rolling, but something's going to happen. Injuries, he's 40, but like I said, he's solid. I don't think he could go the whole season. Shedeur's going to come in. He's not going to blow you away. Okay, this is where, look at Geno Smith, right? Look at Geno Smith, and Geno is solid. Geno is smart, really smart guy, and Geno is solid. I think Shedeur will be sort of like a Geno Smith kind of guy, kind of quarterback. And if you got, it's going to. I think at some point he is probably going to get a Pro Bowl, or like Doc was saying, he probably get in there. This may be year 4 or something like that along the line, but he's going to have a lot surrounding him in Cleveland in order to, really elevate, to another level. And I just don't know the Cleveland organization that well to say they are going to. I know they're trying. I know they had solid defense, but on the offensive side, it just wasn't happening. And the division that you in, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough sledding coming out of there. So he'll be okay. I mean, he'll have a good career, but again, I don't think he wins a Super Bowl. He might get close, and he'll have a solid career. I think he'll just have a regular solid career, Geno Smith type career.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. I agree. Geno Smith, Kirk Cousins. I think Kirk Cousins is the ceiling for him. I don't see him having a much better career or performance, right, than what Kirk Cousins has shown through his career. And that's not a dig. Kirk Cousins, he was a good quarterback. He needs a certain amount of help, right, in order to, put him in a championship type of environment. He can't carry as much of the load as a Joe Burrow or a Patrick Mahomes, but Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback. And I always said, Shedeur Sanders, he's a good quarterback. He's just not a first rounder. I don't think he's a fifth rounder, right? But I know for sure he shouldn't have been drafted in the first round. And the people that we compared him to, none of them were drafted in the first round, right? Kirk Cousins was fourth rounder. Geno Smith was a second rounder, right? So, yeah, I think, it's unfortunate that it happened the way that it did. I would not have wanted that for him. But again, there's a certain level of, he has to have a certain level of humility. I understand being brash. I understand being cocky. I understand being confident. Those three are completely different, though, right? You could be confident, but you don't need to be brash and cocky.
Yeah.
And so with someone like him, have all the confidence in the world, go in there and do your due, but you need to kind of humble yourself a little bit because you're playing a position where you're going to be seen as the CEO of the team. You're the leader, and the way you go is how everybody else should go. You don't want everybody acting that way. You got to have a certain level of professionalism about you to go out there and handle your business. You got to know how to go out there and talk as well. When you're talking to the media, when you're talking about the opponent, right? You have to have a certain level of discretion when you do this, right? There's a certain tact, and I don't see that in him yet. He's going to grow and he's going to learn. Baker Mayfield was another person I couldn't stand him.
I was just going to bring him up. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But you see that he was humbled.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
He was humbled, and now you see him and you hear him talk. Now it's a completely different
Totally
person.
different. Yeah.
Right. So he's young. These guys, they're young. They're coming in. They're 21, 22. So it's to be expected. But you do also have on the flip side of that, and I think we would be remiss not to talk about him, Cam Ward.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
First overall pick. When they put this microphone in his face and they asked him, "Hey, how do you feel? You're being the first overall." This is when he was in Tennessee, and that dude said, "I'm still a 0-star player who just happens to be a high draft pick." That's what he said.
Yeah.
That's a level of humbleness that, I mean, could you imagine if Shedeur was the first overall pick? What he would be saying, right?
Yeah.
So that's Cam Ward's statement, and then on the flip side, it's like. He said, "I'm coming in, and I'm coming in to he want to win championships. He wants to turn the organization around. Like he's still confident, but you don't need all that extra stuff because when you have all of that extra stuff, to me, it seems as if you're masking something, like you're hiding. What you hiding? Cam Ward knows he's good, right? But he also knows where he came from, and he knows that he can easily end up right back there if he don't put in the work.
That's right.
I don't see that yet from Shedeur. Not to say he's not putting in the work.
Right.
I'm not accusing him of that. I'm just saying by his words.
Yeah.
He just seems to be a person where it's like, look, it's a given. It's gonna happen. I'm gonna be great.
Right.
So we'll see.
Coming into the league, right? Any rookie, but especially your quarterback. The two H's you want: humble and hungry. Hey, I'm happy to be here. When we win, it's because of the teammates. When we lose, it's because of me. And I have to keep getting better. I got to keep getting better. I don't know it all. It's a whole different level. And I gotta put in the work to raise my game up another level to compete at this level, right? What you don't want is the hubris. That's the H you don't want. Hey, Punto, you ain't gonna get much work this year. Don't worry about it, right? Hey, I had the playbook from like January, so I'm good. Right? Legendary written on your walls at your draft party, right? Like you got to be careful because you kind of assuming it's gonna go your way, and if things don't go well, your teammates don't have your back because they ain't seen you putting in the work. They ain't seen you coming to them asking them questions like, "Hey, what happens here? Hey, how do I handle this? What do you think about so and so? Hey, dude, that's on me. It's always on me. Receiver goes the wrong way. When they ask me after the game, yeah, that was on me. I threw a bad ball." Right? Like that humbleness and that hungriness will take you far. And to Levon's point, it may be in him, but right now it is masked by the Deion Sanders prime time effect, right? And especially in Cleveland of cities, yeah, the glitz and the glamour, that's not gonna work. You need to be going to the children's hospital and
Big blue collar.
signing, yeah, right. You don't need to be driving around no Bugatti.
Right.
Leave the Bugatti at home. Don't bring the Bugatti to Cleveland because that don't fit. That don't work in Cleveland, right?
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
a
No,
it is a
it's a
blue collar
it's a
type
blue
town.
collar team, a
Yeah.
blue collar city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
I don't know him, right? We don't know
Yeah.
him,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
right? He could very well be the hardest working player on the team.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
very well could be that. And you don't do what he's done up until this point without putting in the work. I get
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
But perception is important too, especially
Absolutely.
at that
Absolutely.
position. If you're a cornerback or a wide receiver, I don't care. Be brash.
Right. 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 Yeah.
You could do whatever you want to do, say whatever you want to say. Once you go on the field and back it up, it's fine.
Right. Right.
But that quarterback position is different.
Yeah. It's different,
It's
man.
different. You
It's
have to
different.
carry yourself a certain way because you're now a reflection on the entire team.
Yeah. 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 I agree. I agree with you guys. Doc, you said one thing though. You said, when the receiver go run the wrong route and come back, I'm telling that dude, you run the wrong route, bro.
No,
You run
hey,
the wrong route. You
don't
need
get
to
me
run
wrong.
the right route next time.
Don't get me wrong. In the huddle on the sideline, you best believe that receiver gonna hear it.
Okay.
Dude, you ran the wrong route.
You mean in the press conference?
At the press
I
conference.
got you. Okay.
Hey, I gotta do better,
Yeah.
right?
I got you.
I gotta do better. And if someone
Yeah.
even says, "I know the receiver ran the wrong route,"
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Then the quarterback's job is to say, "I got to do a better job working with the receiver core so he knows what route to run when." So it's
I got
still
you.
on me.
I got you.
That's what I mean when I say the humbleness and the
Okay.
hungriness. I got to
Yeah,
do better.
that
Oh,
makes
but you
sense.
best believe in the huddle, he going to hear it.
He got to air. Yeah, man. So you got Cam Ward, number one, man. Like you say, Lee. Even my wife said this. When she looks at the draft and stuff like, she's just casual looking at the draft. But she looks at the guys and looks at their personality and stuff, and she was like, man, that number one pick. I don't know who he is, but he's a real humble guy. So he just came up there really. I could tell she just was saying how his personality, what she's seeing on TV, appears to be like a real humble guy. So, and don't get me wrong, when I talk about it too, when I say humble as in, you're respectful and that kind of thing, respectful of the situation and where you are and all that stuff like that. But on the field, as a quarterback, you got to be somewhat you got to be able to direct fellas. You got to be able to let them know what time it is. You got to have that confidence and he has that because I've seen it. He has that and he's able to speak and direct people on the field. So I think he's going to be, I think he's going to be solid there in Tennessee. I don't know how Tennessee is set up, but I don't know what their O-line looks like. I don't know anything about Tennessee because I didn't really study them like that. I do know if they are able to protect him, they got the receivers to be able for him to get the ball. He can make any throw, man. He can make any throw that a quarterback needs to make.
He makes the difficult throw look easy, right? He's one of those few quarterbacks that can do that, which is why he's picked where he's picked, right? When you got a guy like that with the arm talent and has shown to put together the amount of production that he has on a team where no one could really call a second player on that offense for the Miami Hurricanes right now, right? If I could put up $50, whatever, how much money now, and be like, none of us could really say, okay, X player, right? And for him to put up the kind of production that he put up, yeah, he's warranted to be, to be where he's at. He worked hard. He went through several schools. And again, he was not highly touted coming out of high school. Worked his way up.
That's big, man.
Worked his way up.
Yeah, that's big to be able to do that. So, what do you guys have on the Jaguars jumping up, taking Travis Hunter, in that pick, and then tell me, I listened to their GM a little bit. They got a young GM. I think he's 37, and he said he wanted to get Travis Hunter in there because he sees Travis Hunter as a number one DB and a number one receiver. I don't know if that's how they're going to use him, but that came out of his mouth. He's a young guy. So what's you guys take on Travis Hunter going there?
I thought it was a lot to give up. I think it was a second and the next year's first to jump up 3 spots.
Next year's first, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
that was a lot.
And you're doing that you plan to play him at DB and wide receiver, but as we've talked about before, I mean, I think the wear and tear of trying to run DB and wide receiver both ways full time, I don't think that's going to work. So if he ends up being like a true shutdown corner for a good like 4 or 5 years, like Revis Island shutdown corner, then yeah, I think if he's a good corner but not true shutdown corner, that's a lot to give up. Like he needs to be, to use the phrase, legendary to warrant what they gave up to get him, because that's a corner and a receiver and something else they could have had to get him.
True.
So
Yeah, the GM actually came from the Rams.
Oh, he was with you guys.
Yeah, he was
Okay,
with us.
okay.
He's 34.
34.
34.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah,
So
he's a young fellow, man.
young. He's young, right?
Yeah.
For that position.
Yeah.
So he went in there, and I think they wanted to make a big splash, right? Trading up to get Hunter, they must have a plan for him. And I'm a little bit hesitant and skeptical because it's the Jaguars, right? I don't. They've not shown to really maximize some of the talent that they've had over the past I would say 5-6 years. Trevor Lawrence, I mean, the dude, he's a good quarterback, but for some reason they can't really get him right. Bringing in coach after coach, right, to get him set, but they can't do it. So now with Hunter coming in and wanting to play him on both sides, I'll say what I said before. They have I would caution that a little bit because this is football. The more opportunity people have to hit you, the quicker your career is going to de-escalate and decrease. So I would want him to pick a side. Like, what do you want to specialize in? What do you want your primary position to be? Do that, concentrate on that, and then create packages for the other side. Right? That's what I would do. If they're looking to deploy him equally on both sides, I would not want to go that route. I don't think you would really be able to properly maximize him doing that. And I think you run the risk of shortening his career.
Yeah. For me, I really think this is they're trying to sell tickets, man. This Jacksonville.
That's it.
They're trying to sell tickets.
That is it. Yeah.
They trying to sell tickets. That nobody going to Jacksonville games, man. And nobody is who's a Jacksonville fan. I mean, they don't even sell out their stadium. They sort of like the Falcons. When other teams come in, that's how the stadiums get filled up. So Jacksonville is in a spot right now. They was like, you know what? What's gonna help us sell some tickets? The hottest name right now is Travis Hunter. So now they bring in Travis Hunter, sell some tickets, we'll get some more, So that's what I think really that's what that boiled down to. And then on top of that, they're not even a primetime team. So I mean, they're not going to be coming on. I mean, I know the schedule comes out on the 17th, I think, May 17th or something, somewhere around there. They say the schedule's coming out, but they've never really been a primetime team to come. So really, are you going to see him? So I mean, this is a local thing where they trying to sell some tickets, get some season ticket holders, and garner some excitement there in Jacksonville. I don't see anything else. I don't see anything.
And not just that, don't forget he is from Florida now, South Florida.
That's
but they're trying to milk that too, right?
Yeah.
It's a Florida kid. Come see him. It's only a 4-hour drive.
Yes.
So
Doc, he's from Boynton Beach.
Yep.
He's from Boynton Beach. We got family over there, but
yeah.
Yeah, Links, I think you're spot on. Definitely, there's a money grab here with it, and I guess it would make sense to sell some tickets, but I still think they should have stayed right there at 5 and picked up someone like Ashton Genty.
Ashton Genty, yeah.
That in the long run, I think that would sell more tickets.
Yeah, yeah. So okay, so you got this was another one. You got Abdul Carter going to the New York Giants, and so he's going there, and he say, man, he won Lawrence Taylor number, man. He said what
What?
number? Lawrence Taylor number was
56.
what,
56.
56?
Yep.
56. So he was like, he put out there, I would like Lawrence Taylor number. Lawrence Taylor say, no.
Right.
Lawrence Taylor say no. He say
Around.
go. He say I don't care which number you choose. You could choose 00. Go make
Right.
it popular.
Right.
He say no. Yeah.
Was kind of made it seem a little dirtier than it really was, right? LT was like,
Okay.
dude, I think you're gonna be awesome. I'm in your
Yeah.
corner. Like, have your own number and make that number
Make
like
that go.
a retired number. He's like, I want to meet with you. Let's go talk. I'm in your right. He's like, don't be the next 56, right? Like, do your thing. But of course, the salesman, how does he be like, LT say no, get your own number, right? But
Where we from? Right? LT said, come from around here.
come from Mario.
Yes.
So-
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So you're also Ashton Genty, good pickup, man. So he's gonna be solid. Solid running back there. And let me see. What other interesting picks that you guys saw, that happened in in that first round? Anything, even from the first round. But I have one more that I wanted to talk about a little bit later. But I want anything you guys see, in a draft recap that you kind
I
of
mean, I think everybody really picked. I think everybody picked with got the right picks for their squads, except I mean Carolina. I like the wide receiver, but I don't understand
that spot.
that spot,
Yeah.
right? But we'll see how that works. But the one move that really stands out to me, well, two of them, but one that I think gets more attention is the Giants coming back up into the first round to get Jackson Dart.
Jackson Dart. Yes. Yes.
And so I've said this on, it's been recorded. I did have Jackson Dart graded higher than Shedeur, but I didn't have any other quarterback going in the first round other than Cam Ward.
Mm.
Like Cam Ward was the only one that I think really garnered being a first round pick. Everybody else was a second and lower. But for the Giants to move back up to get Jackson Dart, I think that's interesting. That's interesting. He's in a position where he doesn't have to start right away, which is good because
Right.
the college that he comes from, they don't even call plays, right? He doesn't even call a play. No,
Yeah.
you don't call a play. When you get a chance, anyone that's listening, look up John Gruden, Jackson Dart, and John Gruden asking him, how do you call a play at the line of scrimmage?
Right.
You
I
don't,
got to see this.
right? He don't call a play. Every
Wow.
time we go up to the line of scrimmage, right? When it's time to hike the ball,
That's
Right.
it.
that's it.
I mean, but what does that mean though?
So, so Gruden say, well, what happens when you're trying to, throw him off or you're trying to, call an audible or, a fake?
Dude smiling. And dude smiling like,
And
got
man,
the
hey,
double
and you
clap.
should see, and
Man.
Gruden looking at him like, right? So arm
Yo.
talent wise, throwing up the ball, going through progressions, reading, like he's a good quarterback,
Yeah.
but he needs to learn how
Oh,
to.
he got a lot to learn.
He has a lot
He
to
got
learn.
a lot to learn.
His ceiling is high, right? But his floor is lower.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So we'll
Thank you, Giants. Thank you, Giants. I appreciate it.
To Levan's point, the move is to get the 5th-year option, right? That's
Yeah,
why they trade
yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Get him in the first round just so they have the
Work with him.
5th-year option and another year wiggle room in terms of trying to keep that price low. Once that runs out, once the rookie contract runs out, you pay in a good. At that point, it's gonna be a minimum 40 mil a year for your
Right.
quarterbacks.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, I wanted to talk real quick. Doc, you hit me up on this. Lee, you hit me up on this too. My guy, Demetrius Knight Jr.,
yes.
going to the Cincinnati Bengals, man. I got to give him a shout out, man. That's huge, man. I'm so happy for him, man. I'm happy for him. I saw a story actually on him. I'll shoot it to you guys. I don't know if you saw it, but it was just about him and his story coming from high school all the way to the pros. Like I said, he's 25 years old. He has 2 kids
Okay.
and a wife, and he spent 6 years in college. Like I said, played first 4 with Georgia Tech, and then one with Charlotte, and then one with Carolina, South Carolina.
Yeah.
And what he was saying was after in this story, real quick, he said, man, when he was playing for Charlotte, they had just lost to Army 14-0. Tough game, man. It was like, man, demoralized. And then he got home and asked his wife, how much what we got in the bank account? How much we got? And she was like, it's bleak. So he jumped up, this was after the game, and was like, I'm going to deliver what do you call it, Grubhub or whatever it is.
DoorDash, something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, just delivery driver going to deliver to make ends meet.
Yeah.
So he was talking about that story, and then he also said when South Carolina came to him and was like, "Hey, man, we want you to come over here." He was like, "Hey, the only way I come over there is if I could take advantage of NIL." So I could at least take care of my family for this year. And he was just saying, man, his whole path was, man, if I can get to the NFL, I could change my family's trajectory. And he did that, man. He did that. And just looking at what a second rounder would get in his spot, you're looking at a $9 million contract over a 4-year period. So in the first year, he'd be somewhere around about 1.1. But he's going to
Awesome.
be a millionaire. That's going to change his life forever. Change it. So man, I'm happy for him. My daughter actually texted his sister and said, hey, congratulations to your brother. So that was awesome for him to be able to go there, man.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
That's a pretty good
to
story.
see that.
That's awesome, especially
Yeah,
when you know them and you have like a close proximity with them, understand their story, see the struggle, and then see the payoff.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
good.
That's huge. Yeah. Hopefully he can make an impact there in Cincinnati. He should be able to slide right in there at
Oh yeah.
linebacker and be ready to go.
Bengals
I
don't have
think.
anything on defense.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, they definitely are going to be looking for to fill that slot. So what I wanted to ask you guys about your individual teams. I want you guys to talk about the Rams, and I want you to talk about Doc. I want to talk about the Vikings. Like your picks. How do you guys see what your teams did? Was it surprising, shocking? Was it what? How do you guys feel about your picks?
Well, with the Rams, it wasn't surprising at all. I think we recorded this too right before the draft. I
Right.
said they were going to do one or two things. Either they were going to trade up into the top one of the top 10 spot if they really saw someone that they liked
Yeah.
and they could get someone to bite on that
Yeah.
trade,
Yeah.
they were going to do that.
Yeah.
Or they were going to trade out of the first round.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And they did the latter. They trade out of the first round. Didn't surprise me. What surprised me was what we got for it. All right. I'm ecstatic for that. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you saw the Giants traded with Houston, who had the 25th spot, and they gave up like what, a second round and a couple of second rounds and a third round. And then you have who traded with Atlanta. They traded with us for that 26th spot, which is one spot down,
Right.
and we get their first round pick for next year.
Crazy.
That's crazy.
Man, that is like,
That's crazy,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So I am happy about that because, to be honest with you, Rams are, if they're not the youngest, they're like the second or third youngest team in the league. Our entire defense last year was made up of rookies and first and second year players.
yeah,
We don't
yeah.
need anybody on defense. I thought if anything, we needed help on offense, which we needed a tight end, and we got a tight end in the
Tight end,
second
yeah,
round.
yeah. I saw
Right,
that.
from the guy from Terrence Ferguson from Oregon. He's the he's like that switchblade type of tight end that can go out there and catch, he can threaten the seam, catch the ball downfield. He's like a Jimmy Graham type of guy.
Yeah, yeah,
So I'm happy with that. And we're set up for next year, which is gonna have a much better crop of quarterbacks coming out. And we're gonna be in the market for a quarterback next year with Stafford basically,
yeah,
on the tail end of his.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm happy with what we did.
yeah, man. Yeah, yeah. I saw your moves. I said, picking up that tight end. I know we talked about that. That was pretty.
Mhm.
That was a good one. And that first rounder from the Falcons, man. That, like you say,
Yep.
that's big. That's big.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I hope that pick end up being a good pick.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
so I rooting against the Falcons all season.
You don't have to worry. That's the Falcons, man. Yeah, Doc, what you looking at, man?
No, Matt. So with the Vikings, I thought we were gonna draft the safety from South Carolina in the first round. I thought we were gonna go safety or maybe even corner, but we went with the offensive line, a guard from Ohio State, right?
Mm-hmm.
Donovan
Mm-hmm.
Jackson, and I think it does plug a need we had. I think in the left guard position. So we covered that, and then we drafted a receiver from Maryland in the third round, and I think he's going to be competing with Naylor for the wide receiver 3 spot. So I think with McCarthy hopefully taking over the reins to have Addison and of course Justin Jefferson, and then kind of boost that 3 wide receiver set with Hawkinson, tight end. Like we're trying to give you boys as many weapons as possible. So overall, I liked it. We had a bunch of different trades, like up and down. We got an edge rusher in the 5th round, and then a linebacker, I think, in the 6th, and a tight end in the 6th round too. So someone to back up Hawkinson. So the only thing I'm a little worried about is relatively speaking, we still have to address safety and cornerback, but I think they're probably going to go through some of those undrafted free agents and see if they can find some folks that kind of fit with Flores' scheme. You need to have some guys who are pretty heady and trying to mask
Look
whether
like
they're
we
playing
lost
man or
Doc there
zone or
for a
really
little.
understand their responsibilities.
Okay.
So you may give up a little bit of speed or athleticism for the football IQ, right? To really pull it off. And so I think there's a chance we can kind of fill those spots or those needs with some of the unrestricted or making some trades or signing guys in free, the big free agent period is over, but we still got some time before the season. But overall, I like what we did because we're going to make sure doing our best to keep McCarthy upright and then giving him another weapon to pair opposite JJ, Justin Jefferson, and Jordan Addison, and to have a wide receiver 3 who's like potentially a wide receiver 2 on other teams is
Mm-hmm.
it's a really nice pickup.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's good, man. That's good. I like you guys, like what y'all teams did. For the Eagles, man, Jahad Campbell. Boy, oh boy.
Just keep happening.
Man, look at
Wait, let me tell you something. Let me
Another
tell you,
SEC defensive player,
I, I was swearing, man.
Georgia
I
and
was
Alabama.
swearing at the team. I was like, what? Like, just
man.
just to block it. If I was a team ahead of you all, I would have picked him up.
Look,
Just to block it. Just to
they did
stop it from
say
happening.
because they was trying to get Jihad around pick number
23.
20. Yeah.
23. Yeah.
23. So they were calling and calling, trying to make this thing happen, but it didn't happen. He just happened to fall there. Right
Just
there.
happened to fall.
Wasn't he supposed to, he was projected before his injuries and stuff, projected to be like a top 10 pick?
He's a top 10, top 15 pick. He has a shoulder injury that teams were kind of scared about that. But
Man, let
if
me
that
tell
shoulder
you,
injury end up being a non-issue,
that's crazy.
that's
That's
crazy.
crazy, man. I'm
Rich get
loving
rich,
it. I'm loving it.
rich get richer.
That's man. Look, I'm loving it. Then in the second round, we picked up Makuba, the Texas safety, right? Yeah, he played safety for Texas. And from what I'm looking, man, he one play that I saw when I was looking him up and seeing what he did, man. Boy, he put one hit on a Georgia quarterback in that game. I mean, and it was like a goal line. My gosh. So losing CJGJ and sliding him into that spot, I think he's that kind of guy. He's that kind of like looks like he like to fly around and look like he like to hit people. So and then we filled some other spots in D tackle and a couple other spots on the O line. Shoring up those spots a little bit. But those first 2 picks, man, I'm impressed with what that's that Jahad Campbell, man. That's a big one.
In the 6th round, you guys picked up Kyle McCord, quarterback from
McCord,
Yes,
Syracuse.
quarterback. Yep.
Led the nation in passing.
Yes, led the
Led
nation
the
in passing.
nation in passing. He's a good quarterback. He's a
Yeah,
good quarterback.
he's really solid quarterback. I think they definitely brought him in because Howie did say he wants the Eagles to be a QB factory, to develop these QBs, and also, if it so happened Jalen get hurt, something happened, you could always slide these guys in. Like I said, our third string QB, this dude he is ready, man. A team can get this dude right now. I'm telling you, he is ready. That he needs to polish a little bit, but he could be someone that could be real dangerous. So I think he's going to be quarterback we pick is going to compete. I think for again either the second or third QB spot on the team. But he led the nation, man. He's a solid quarterback. I definitely saw him there. You definitely add some value and some depth to the position.
But for the
Who's
Eagles,
the
you're
offensive
talking Tanner
coordinator for the
McKee, or you
Eagles?
talking Dorian Thompson Robinson?
Dorian Thompson Robinson is coming in to be. He's going to compete for, I think, the third string QB position, man. Because the reason why I'm telling you, our second string, I'm trying to remember his name. I can't
Tanner McKee?
remember it off the top of my head. But
Tanner McKee,
our
right?
second string quarterback, this kid is legit 6'6". I mean, man, I got to look him up real quick. Hold on.
Yeah, McKee. Tanner.
Yeah, Tanner McKee, man. Let me tell you, if somebody is looking for a QB in the next year, he will be solid. I would not, if Jalen were to go down, I would feel 100% comfortable with him being our QB. That's from what I've seen what he can do. Man, I feel comfortable with him. But Dorian Thompson and the rookie we just picked, I think they're gonna be battling for that third spot, man. Because I think that second spot is that's a lock. Yeah. Yeah, so I think that's gonna go. But yeah, overall with this draft, I think, like you said, I saw a lot of offensive tackles, a lot of tackles going in that first round. Really wasn't, apart from a couple picks there, but I saw in the first round there's a lot of tackles. You got the
It's the edge.
running back at, let's see what it was in the second round. Travion Henderson, I know he went Ohio State running back. He went to the Patriots. And then, the pick that kind of threw me off a little bit, Lee, you talked about Tyler Show before. I know he went to New Orleans, right? He went there to New Orleans, but people started showing this clip of him. What was that all about? It was a clip when he was in the NFL, when he was in the combine, and he was throwing the ball, and it was like, man, it was way off.
Yeah.
It was just this one clip. So, and, people take things out of context.
Right.
But I know you said he's an older guy as well. He's like 25, but
25.
he's got a pretty solid arm and pretty solid.
Yeah. He's a good quarterback. He's
Yeah.
a good quarterback. Like,
Yeah.
I saw the clip. I saw, and it's a loop. Is that one
Yeah,
throw?
it was the loop.
Right?
Yeah.
A loop, and he had a bad. He had a bad throw.
Right.
He threw the ball, right?
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
slipped out of his hand. So
Yeah.
it is.
I saw when I see stuff like that, I never take it for face value, because I know people only show like these one little things, like one little clip, and try to prove a point or something like
Well, I
that.
mean, you got to have a lot of people out there who are, they're advocates now for Shedeur, and now they're gonna heavily scrutinize all of the quarterbacks that went before him. So anything that they do is gonna be put under a microscope, and then they're gonna exasperate it. I can't believe they picked this guy over Shedeur, and it's gonna be like that until everything kind of plays itself out. Look, we got to give it 3 years. We
Yeah,
got to give it 3 years, see
absolutely.
how everybody does, how it plays out. I'm hoping all the quarterbacks do well. I really
Yeah,
do. I
yeah.
think I'm a fan and an advocate of seeing good quarterback play. The
Hmm.
more good quarterbacks we have in the NFL, the more entertaining the games are going to be. Right?
Absolutely.
So
Yeah,
that's what I want to see. But
yeah.
I'm not going to be out there saying, "Oh, I want someone to do bad," or "I want, to prove a point." That doesn't make sense.
Right,
If
right.
Shedeur goes out there and proves himself to be better than all these other guys, good for him.
So
Great.
be it. Yeah,
So be it,
definitely.
right? But
Yeah,
we have to wait it out and see what happens.
yeah. One last thing I wanted to bring up real quick. It was Mina Kimes. She was on with, on her show, and she was talking about the Raiders. She was like, with Ashton Genty pick. She said she wouldn't have picked Ashton Genty there.
Yeah,
She said she would not have picked Ashton Genty there because it's sort of like a Saquon Barkley when he went to the
yeah,
Giants.
yeah, yeah.
The line is just shot. So
Right.
you got this all world kind of running back who can change the play change the game at any time. But with the Raiders, she was like, man, I wouldn't have picked him there because I don't know if he's going to be as effective as he could been, as what Saquon was when he had an excellent line to be able to showcase what he can do.
I heard her say that.
Right.
And she makes a very good point.
Yeah.
I mean, all of those, point that it's solid. That makes sense. You want to build. You always want to build from the inside out. And there are times when you should definitely do that. But when you have a once in a generation type of talent like Ashton Genty, and you have a head coach that is run focused, and then they have the secret ingredient for offensive coordinator, right? You know who that is, right?
Who's the secret ingredient?
Chip Kelly.
Kelly.
Chip Kelly, man. Chip Kelly.
Don't make me drop out of my chair. I forgot about that.
Chip Kelly. So, okay.
Hey,
Yeah.
Okay. So Chip Kelly,
coming off a
horrible.
national championship with the
I
Ohio
got
State
you. I got you.
Right.
Okay, so yeah,
He's a horrible head coach.
Horrible.
I wouldn't want him head coaching my son's pee-wee football team, right?
No. Yeah.
But as an offensive coordinator, guy, he knows what he's doing. So I have confidence that him and Pete Carroll, they're going to put Ashton Genty right in a position to be as successful as he could possibly be.
Yeah.
He's going to craft the offense to where, look, if the blocks aren't there if they can't manufacture those holes for him, they're going to get him in space.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're going to get him in space and they're going to get him the ball. So I feel confident. And in the long term, Pete Carroll's going to shore that line up.
Yep.
Next year,
Yep.
probably going to be all
Give it 2
offensive
years.
linemen that they're going to draft.
give
Yeah.
it 2 years.
I think Ashton Genty is where he's supposed to be. They're going to be good, right? Pete Carroll, he's going to get that right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
He's going to get it right.
Don't
Because even if they show up the line now, right? Even if they show up the line now, there's no Ashton Genty in the next draft,
That's true.
right? To pick.
Yeah.
So get that
Yeah.
piece and then worry about that line later.
Yeah.
And don't forget the experience Pete Carroll's had with Marshawn Lynch and building up the line for that kind of running back. And now to have this running back who is exceptional at bouncing off of tackles and keeping his balance, he's going to have some effectiveness even this first year. But once they get that line built up over the next couple of years, yeah,
Yeah.
that's going to be interesting to watch and fun to watch.
And that's true. And you got weapons like Brock Bowers that's there, that could open things up as well. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I definitely want to see what he could do there.
And they picked up that wide receiver, what's his name? Besh.
Oh, yes.
Right? So they picked up Jack Besh from TCU. Right. So they picked up Jack Besh, and Jack Besh is he's like a Cooper Cup type.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying that because he's Caucasian, but with the style of play
Mhm.
is, he understands, he has the route tree, route concepts, and he blocks,
Right.
right? He's
Yeah.
physical.
Yeah.
So I think they're putting together a team where they're going to emphasize the run, not just at the line of scrimmage, but after the line of scrimmage as well. And I think Genty, he's going to be the gem piece in that whole
Yeah.
puzzle.
Yeah. Yeah. That's just like your boy Scatterboo and at the Giants, man. Scatterboo to the Giants.
So
Yeah.
Scatterboo, he's a good back. We
Yeah.
talked about this,
We
but
talk about this. Yeah.
he ain't breaking nothing.
Ain't nothing happening out there.
Nothing happening after 25 yards. That's it.
That's it. That's
That's
it.
it. Yeah.
He's going Riggins it.
Yeah. I think they need to convert him to fullback or something, man. Convert him to fullback. Bring the fullback back.
Yeah.
Convert him to fullback. Yeah. All right. Well, hey, look, anything you guys got, anything else you want to talk
Real
about
quick,
on this?
I gotta give a shout out to Maxwell Hairston, the cornerback from Kentucky that went 30th to Buffalo. That dude
Okay,
was
yeah.
stopping everybody up in the room when they was getting picked ahead of him.
That is true. Yeah.
Showing love to people. My old
Yeah.
man thought he was a hype man for the NFL. It's like, no, Dad, he's trying to get drafted too, right?
Yeah.
If ever you go to Buffalo, where like community is so important, like that is a wonderful hand and glove fit. He's going to fit in there right in, not just with the team, but with the community too. So it's just really cool to see somebody like happy for other people getting drafted. Or he got
I think he
drafted.
went to the Bills. Went to the Bills,
He
right?
went to the Bills.
Yeah, he went
Yeah,
to
you went to the Bills.
Yeah,
he
Bills.
you got certain people that they have a spirit about them where it's just a genuine, man.
Joy. Yeah.
A genuine joy. And then to see when he got picked.
Yes.
And just, I mean, you know what it is? And it's a recipe for success in life altogether. He has gratitude.
Yes.
He exemplifies gratitude,
Gratitude.
right?
Mhm.
To where it's like, yeah, he's in the green room. Yeah, everybody wants to get picked, but he isn't like looking for anyone to go down or to be down or not to, like he's genuinely happy. And then
Mhm.
when it was his turn,
Yeah.
he was just happy. He was
Yeah.
gracious. He had gratitude, and
Yeah.
people like that, man, I wish the best for them. He's gonna be successful.
Absolutely,
He's gonna
man.
be good.
Yeah, he was. I'm glad you brought that up, Doc, because he was one of the guys that I was looking at, and I was like, man, this dude is. He is real.
Yep.
I could feel it. I could feel the
Yep. Genuine.
enthusiasm and like you said, the genuineness and just the happiness overall. That yeah, I definitely he was because I saw him dapping up the people coming out. I mean, he was dapping everybody up hard, man. I was
Like
like,
he knew
okay,
them. Like he
yeah,
knew them.
like he knew him. Yeah, I was like, man, yeah. So that really you that was a good point, man. That's somebody who's going to be successful when you are genuinely happy for people, even when it's not your turn, and you genuinely happy for people to see them successful, man. That goes on.
But and not only that too, is like he had gratitude for the experience, just for the
Right.
opportunity to
Yes.
be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes, and I'm happy. I'm glad. I appreciate what the NFL is doing now with that whole green room situation. It's not like this doom and gloom anymore,
Right.
like where someone is just waiting, and then they're expounding on the fact that that player is in literal, like he's
Anguish. Yeah.
anguishing the
Yeah.
wait.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be about that.
Right.
You're there. You work your butt off. You put yourself in a position to be drafted. Whether you get drafted in the first round or second round, it really is of no consequence. It doesn't really. Yeah, it's dollars and cents to it, but in the grand scheme of things, right? You just want to be appreciative of the opportunity of even being there and getting selected.
Absolutely.
That's really what it's about, and that's what he exemplified when they put that microphone in his face. He was like, "Man, I'm just happy to be
Yeah.
here." Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. It's awesome, man. Awesome stories. All right. Well, another draft in the books. Another draft in the books. So let's see how the
OTAs.
yep. You ready for the getting ready for the schedule to come out? See
It's
what that looks like and get these things going, man. OTAs on the books.
Yeah, what we need to do, we need to start talking about fantasy football. I think that's going to be something where we should
That's yeah. Yeah.
start getting that ready.
Yeah. 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 We we definitely need to talk about that.
Yeah, because everybody's starting now the rosters are basically not, it's not all fleshed out yet, but
Right.
primarily you can kind of figure out who's what, right? At least from a
Yeah.
starting position.
Yeah.
You start getting your fantasy roster ready, man.
Yeah, man. I can't mess with y'all, man. Y'all fellas be trying to do me in.
What you
Can't
mean?
mess
How
with
many
y'all.
championships you won in our league, Links?
Man, I think I only won two, man. Only
Only
won
two.
two.
Only
Yeah.
two.
I need to go back and check, but I think it's only two.
You say only two. I think I have three, but you have
Yeah.
some people they ain't win nothing yet, you know.
I'm still
Yeah.
working. I'm still working. Still
Working at
hungry.
it. Yeah, man.
Still
Hey,
hungry.
look how how you look at it. How you look at it is, man. It's a lot of luck.
Yeah.
A lot of luck. Things
Yeah.
just fall your way.
Yeah.
It just happened like that, man. Because it was some years where I was like in the books. I mean, I was like, yeah, this the best roster. Hey, man, shoot, I had a losing record that year, man. And then it was years where I was like, man, shoot, I'm gonna let the computer pick for me this year. And then you end up winning.
Yeah.
It's of course you have, along the way you got to make some moves and stuff like that. Drop some people here, those kind of moves, and some of those moves mid to late season end up being like the right person for your team that really take you over the hump. But yeah, man, it's I can't wait. This is gonna be good.
Um,
Yeah. All right, fellas.
Hey guys.
Yep. See you on the next one.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
All right.